2015 is wrapping up soon, and now it's time to look back and remember the good times we spent with the new BIONICLE. Along with the sets, there were online animations to tell the story. Let's go over the best of them. These are the top 10 BIONICLE 2015 animations. Coming in at number 10, we have episode 15, Tomb of EKINU. In this episode, Lewa continues to be amazing and defeats both Skull Scorpios single-handedly. After getting the compliment he deserves, the Toa complete their mission and awaken EKINU. The episode wraps up the Toa's major goal of 2015 and shows us for the first time the use of elemental powers working in unity. We see EKINU for the first time as well, and his armor looks appropriate for the time he's been asleep. While not as climactic as many would like, the episode gives a proper end to that questline. At number 9, Episode 1, Prophecy of Heroes. The debut episode of the online animations was a good way to kick things off. In 90 seconds, the plot of 2015 was laid out and presented quickly and efficiently. We learned of the Protector's role in the story, as well as the fabled Prophecy of Heroes. And having the Toa fall from the sky is a great way to rope old fans back in and see what's going on. At number 8, we have Episode 5, The Power of the Golden Masks. Skipping forward a bit, we're here with the Toa completing the first part of their quest. In typical Toa fashion, our heroes manage to find their golden masks in the nick of time. This episode makes the list for letting us see all the Toa achieve this goal, and for Tahu's hilarious shouting. We also get to see elemental powers used for the first time in the new series, and that's nice to see. Coming in at number 7, Episode 2, The Arrival. Only the second episode in, and we've got really cool moments. In this episode, we're introduced to Tahu and the Protector of Fire for the first time. The episode plays with the idea that Tahu already knows how to fight evil, and leads to many questions. The episode seems to harken back to the first time we met Tahu back in 2001 during Monog, having a large part of the village meet him, along with the Elder. And few can deny how cool Narmoto's canon reveal was. Let the nostalgia flow, because this episode is certainly worth a watch. Following up with number 6, Episode 11, The Arena. In this episode, we see Lewa continue to undeniably be the best Toa of them all, taking out a large wave of archers. And before you get on my case about him just knocking them down for the other Toa, you can go listen to part 2 of our Merlin Man interview. In the episode, the Toa defeat their foes and continue on through the city. Lewa defies the others and wanders off on his own to learn about Hammerflush, only for him to be the first to lose his mask and fall unconscious. The episode is entertaining and helpful for anyone that wants to learn more about the Okoshin culture, so go ahead and give that a watch if you're interested. Coming up on number 5, Episode 12, The Game. Right after Lewa's humiliating defeat in the last episode, the rest of the team push forth into the arena to combat the evil Skull Slicer. This episode ranks on this list for how well coordinated the Toa worked together to defeat Skull Slicer. While Lewa's out for the whole fight, seeing the other Toa fly across the screen is a lot of fun to watch, and the witty dialogue makes it a fun episode to see it all. Getting near the end with number 4, Episode 16, Unity, Duty, Destiny. Here, we bridge the gap between the beginning of the story to the payoff. EKINU has finally been awoken and is looking over the destruction caused by the battle between him and his brother Makuta many years ago. This episode has quite a few good moments, especially seeing a once proud city in ruins, and its primary mask maker feeling sorrow. Other good moments include the large mask of control made of stars, which some have taken as a reference to a defining moment in Generation 1. The main issue with this episode is the introduction of Skull Grinder, since no one really knows how he got that name. Regardless, there's some good interaction between the Toa and EKINU, and a heartfelt moment at that. Rolling into the final 3, we have Episode 7, Team of Heroes. Here we have the Toa meet for the first time. Not only has this been long awaited, but the wait was well worth it. The Toa interacting is a blast to see, and quite entertaining. Tahu and Kopaka do kind of fight somewhat suddenly, however it leads to another funny moment with Onua naming a new TTV series. It ends with the Toa getting ready to fight the evil Lord of Skull Spiders. All in all, this episode is a blast to watch, and a joy to finally see our new heroes meet for the first time in the new series. At number 2, Episode 18, The Mask of Creation. The final episode for the online animations certainly deserves a spot on this list. action-packed. The Toa confront the evil Skull Grinder to decide the fate of the island and the Mask of Creation. This episode grants us one of the coolest moments in the series, seeing all of the Toa defeated in a single blow. The main problem with this episode is that the battle goes by too quickly, and is over before you know it. Despite that, this episode delivers plenty of action, heroism, and Easter eggs to 2016. Certainly worth your time. Before we move on to number 1, I'd like to give an honorable mention to The Legend. While it isn't really an episode, this introductory animation to 2015 deserves a mention. It sets up the year and introduces us to new lore. We see the mask makers before their fight, learn of the 3 great masks of power, and are given backstory that took place thousands of years ago. It was a great insight into the past, and an excellent way to introduce us back into BIONICLE. And finally, at number 1, Episode 9, Lord of Skull Spiders. This episode was simply fun. We meet our big bad for the first half of 2015, and he is a total wash. We see the Toa attack him one by one, and they get the floor mopped with their masks. Once that foolery is over, they finally attack as one, and we see the actual battle take place. It's funny to watch the Toa attempt to work together and finally learn how. The downside to this episode is the length of the battle, as it wasn't that long despite the build-up. However, it was still the first real fight of the series, and fun to watch our favorite characters contribute to taking down a stronger foe. But those were just our thoughts. What are yours? Post your own top 10 BIONICLE 2015 animations in the comments below, and feel free to continue the discussion on the TTV message boards at board.ttvpodcast.com. I'm Eljay, and thanks for watching.